Hello and welcome. I'm Natalie. Let's talk about money. So, today I'm actually going to talk about trying to buy a house cash or as close to cash as possible, meaning you put a big down payment down. Now, obviously, if you're doing this, obviously, step one is to save money. And so, just like buying anything else that you're saving for and planning for, set money aside every month or bi-weekly or weekly or however often you're paid. Automatically move money into a savings account of some sort. Usually a money market will get you some interest on top. So you probably want to do a money market account, but have money that's automatically being put there so that you don't have to mess with it. You don't have to think about it. It's just going there automatically. Automatically is the way to save. I promise you. Because when you start thinking about it and think, oh, well, I really need this pair of jeans or I really want this watch, then you're not going to put that money away because you're going to think, oh, well, it's just savings. It doesn't matter. If you're buying something big like a home, it matters. Every single penny you save makes a difference. I promise you. I promise you. So if you have any kind of savings now that's not in a retirement account, you can always apply that to your down payment on your home. If you are able to find a home cheap enough or inexpensive enough, because cheap is supposedly a bad word, inexpensive enough to pay cash, by all means use that money that you have saved. Again, as long as it's not in a retirement fund. If you get it out of retirement, there's a big penalty to pay, plus taxes on top of the penalty. When my late husband and I each bought our homes, I had to pay a penalty on because I took my money out of my 401k. So I had to pay a penalty on mine. He took his money out of his 401k at the time. He had to pay a penalty on his. And so then we each bought these cheap little $30,000 homes and were able to buy homes. But then, of course, you don't want to live in a $30,000 home forever. Maybe, or maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you do. We didn't. And so then we had to start saving in order to get into the next house that we wanted. Okay. So I'm going to walk through how I would do it if I were to do it today, what I would do right now in order to find a house. So let's go ahead and go take a look at my computer. Okay, so here's what we're going to do is look at just a basic real estate website. I use realtor.com because to me it seems to be the most up-to-date. I think Zillow is probably one of the slowest to update, so it won't show you when a house has already been sold or if it's in pending status or whatever. So Realtor is what I found to be the most useful. So that's what we're going to do here is use realtor.com. And what I'm going to show is just that houses are not cheap, of course, but you can get a house that you can afford and that you can live in and not be afraid to come home to. Okay, you can do that. It can happen. So I'm in Dallas, so I'm going to just look at Dallas because that's kind of what I know. I know Minneapolis as well because I'm from Minnesota, but I'm kind of out of touch. I haven't lived there in many years, so we're going to use Dallas. So I'm just going to do a broad search, the broadest search I can in Dallas, Texas. Now, when you're searching for a home that's inexpensive and that you will feel safe in, you do have to know the areas that you feel safe in. There are certainly areas in Dallas that, while I wouldn't feel unsafe, I wouldn't live there. So there is a difference between that as well. So keep that in mind. Now, what I want to do is only look at homes, and I also want to look at them in order of price. So what I'm going to do for this property type here, I'm going to change that to house. Now, if you are open-minded, I'll say, you could look at mobile homes, but just keep in mind that mobile homes are not going to increase in price nearly like a regular house will. Usually they're losing value because it is a mobile home. Now, if you get one of these big, 2024 models and, it's like a house basically, maybe it's a little different. But when I was searching for homes, we searched for 2 years, I believe, because we were strict. We didn't want a big mortgage, so we were strict, and we looked at multiple mobile homes. And there were a couple that we considered. I have lived in a mobile home before when I lived in Indiana for a short time when I was training horses, and it was fine. Everything's fine. It's just a house, just like every other house.
but the value is not going to stay as high or grow as high as a house. So anyway, so I'm going to choose just a house. That's all I'm going to choose here. And then for price, if you do have a set standard that you know you don't want to go above a certain amount, you'll want to enter that in. So I am going to enter, looks like 180 is kind of the number there. So let's do 200. I'm not going to put in a minimum because, well, actually I do want to put in a minimum because I don't want them to show me any homes that are just, it says it's a home, but it's only land, or it's like a shed or something like that. I don't want to see any of that. So I'm just going to put a really low minimum of 20,000. And then we're going to be done with that. And the rest of this I have to be open to looking at. I have to be. Otherwise I will never find a home. Now I'm going to sort this by price. So I'm going to do lowest price first, because that way I can just knock out those really cheap homes right away without having to think too deeply about it. Now, this right here is where you need to know the area that you're searching, okay? I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can zoom in a little bit. Not that much though, because I don't want to see those prices. Oh, it just ruined it. It ruined my search. That's cool. Okay, so I'm sorting by lowest price, and we can see this first house that shows up. And so if you look, while I am hovering over the picture, it is showing me where that house is located, which I believe it was this house right here. So as I hover, do you see that white dot that shows up? That's where this house is located. Now, I know this area. It's not a horrible area, probably not where I would want to live, but dependent on where I'm at in my debt journey, this may be a perfect home for 5 years, and then move on to something else. Once the value has come up and the market is okay, move out and move somewhere else, maybe an upgrade a little bit to a different house. So this is our first option, is that house over there on the east side of Dallas. And then we move to this one. Now this is just the opposite. This is on the west side of Dallas. Now this looks like it was just remodeled. You can tell by all the white. So they just remodeled this whole house, I'm betting. And this one is still at the very low price of $75,000. This down arrow 183, typically the down arrow means how much the price has dropped. I don't know that this house has dropped $183,000, so that's interesting to me. So we'll have to come back and take a look at this. Again, I don't know this west side of Dallas very well. I've only shopped a little bit over there. I've never actually looked at a home over there. So that we can look at, we can come back. That's only $75,000. Do you know how low your payment would be if you put like $30,000 down and then you only had a mortgage for $45,000? Although I think most banks want a $50,000 or more mortgage, so that you would have to put $25,000 down and you would have a $50,000 mortgage. Payment would be like, well, I don't know what the interest rate is these days, but it would be super cheap, less than $1,000 for sure. So these are options that you have when you're looking for a home. Now, do you want to live in North Dallas? Well, of course you do. Here's the house in North Dallas on Holland Avenue. Of course, actually that's an apartment, so you wouldn't want to live there either because it's an apartment. We're looking for a house. But what my point is that when you're looking for a home and you're trying to budget so that you can get out of debt and still own a home, this is how you do that. Okay, so this is option number one. I'm going to call this option number one. $75,000. This other one, we'll keep it in the back of our minds. It'll be option 2 for now. Then we're going to scroll down. Here's another one. Let's see where this one is located. Now, this one is located in South Dallas. So I also know this area, and this is an area that I wouldn't live in. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that. And then this one, you can see Realtor shows you it's in pending status. So those are 2 right there that we wouldn't want to look at because someone has already put an offer in, the offer was accepted, and they're basically just pending the final details like the inspection or the financing or whatever. It's pending those last details. So we're going to skip those that are pending. And then we have this one for $95,000. That is also that's southeast Dallas. That is near what we call Fair Park. Again, not an area that I would live in, so I'm going to skip that one. And then we'll go over here. Now, this isn't an apartment, but it's listed as a house for sale. You can see it looks somewhat maybe like a condo or something. So this may be one to look at. It's $100,000. For $100,000, I probably would want my own house. I'm hesitant on condos. If you're old and you just need a cheap house, maybe a condo is right for you. For me, in my life, a condo is not going to work for me. It won't suit my dog and my cat also. So I'm going to keep scrolling. Here's my next one. So this one is a townhome. Now, a townhome is better than a condo, in my opinion, depending, I guess, on how your condo and your townhomes are set up. But this one, you can see, is in a contingent status. So again, someone has put an offer in, and it's contingent on the sale. So we'll skip that. This one is pending. Here's one for sale. This one's 117. Now, this is a tiny little house, 1,000 square feet. So let's see what this looks like. So we can see this one is, again, right in Fair Park area. So I'm not going to live in Fair Park. Many people do. It's a great neighborhood for many people. Not going to work for me, but that's okay. Then we have over here, this one is Wood Valley. This is just over 1,000 square feet. It looks like there's some work that needs to be done. Fixer-uppers are great, especially if you happen to be a person who can handle doing a fixer-upper. I am not any longer. When I purchased the home that burnt down and my husband was alive, we purchased a fixer-upper, and he's a fixer type person, he was. And so he would have been able to fix that house without a problem, because it was cosmetic like this. So if you're a fixer-upper type, this is in Southwest Dallas, and I do like Southwest Dallas. It's okay. There's some areas, in Dallas, it's funny because you can live in, a $5 million mansion, and then one block over, you are in an area that you're afraid to walk down the street. So it's Dallas is crazy. But from what I can tell on the map, this area would be okay. We could probably take a look at that one for 119. So this is what you do when you're looking to purchase a home, whether you're brand new to buying a home or this is going to be your fifth home that you've bought in your life. You want to search the options that are best for you. Now, we could scroll all the way down and move to the $500,000 homes, and that'd be great. Oh, we're not even there yet. Look at all these $100,000 homes. So there's lots of options here. But you could search for those $500,000 homes, but that's not going to help you stay out of debt or get out of debt for that matter. That's going to keep you locked down to a mortgage for 30 years probably, because if you're getting a $500,000 mortgage and you only make $100,000 or less, you're going to have a high payment, which means you're going to not be doing a 15-year mortgage most likely, and you're going to be in that home for a 30-year mortgage. Nobody wants a 30-year mortgage. It's not the way to go. I promise you it's not the way to go. You want to try and get the shortest mortgage possible. So far the most reasonable is this $75,000 home here. So let's go take a look at what it has to offer. We're just going to click on it and it'll show us some pictures. Now you can see it doesn't have a garage. It just has a little parking area that looks like at one point in its life it was either concrete or gravel. But let's go ahead and go through the pictures and see what we think. It looks like the siding was either painted or updated. Looks like the roof was updated. So those are good things. You can see there's some things happening here, like this is not level. This is not level. This may be on purpose though, but to make that water stream out. But anyway, so look at the pictures when you're looking for homes. Look at those pictures. See what you can see just easily. And then when you go look at the home, then you take a closer look and see. So here's the inside. This is, I'm guessing this is the front door here. Not an attractive front door, but whatever. It's a front door. It's got some windows, so that's cute. It's a smallish living room, but how big do you need to be when you're trying to get out of debt? This is another look. And so the living room feeds right into the kitchen. There's another look at the living room. It looks like this area in between, you could probably put a dining room table in. And there's a look from the front door. The front door is right here. And from the front door all the way, that I'm betting that is probably the back door. And so it's a smallish kitchen. This would be a perfect home for a single person or for a person that is married and doesn't have children, doesn't plan to have children, something like that. This is like a two-person home, basically. If you're a single parent with one child or something like that, this may be a good setup. But just a small kitchen, obviously all redone, completely redone. Everything looks brand new. So you got your kitchen, your living room. There's no dining room. There is a little bench here or not bench, but tabletop here for to use as a dining room table. But I would probably put a dining room table there. And then here's one bedroom. And I didn't even look to see, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's 1,500 square feet. So everything's white. I love that because that means if you wanted to paint, you don't have to use a bunch of primer to cover up a bunch of ugly colors. It's already white. You just go ahead and paint. And the rooms don't look super big. This is probably a full size bed. Well, there's 2 pillows there. So it might be a queen. That looks awfully small for a queen though. I bet that's a full size bed. So maybe maybe a second bedroom here. And it looks like this must be the master bedroom because it's got all kinds of decorations over here. I don't know what's going on over here. I don't know about that. That's something you can change. Oh, this doesn't actually look like a bedroom. This actually looks like there's a step up. So this is probably like what used to be like a sunroom or something like that, and they turned it into a room to add square footage to the home. Yeah, that's what this looks like. And I'm betting this might be a bathroom. And this looks like another bedroom. So just kind of a standard bedroom with a closet. Here's one of the bathrooms. Again, it's all updated. Everything's updated. This must be the master bedroom because there's a closet attached to the bathroom. So this one must be the master. They don't call it a master anymore, though. They call it a primary bedroom. This must be the primary bedroom. Okay, that's the bedroom. What is this room? I see a laundry hookup here. That appears to be a laundry hookup here. So it looks like that's just the back. That's behind the kitchen because the kitchen was right there. You see the stools? And that's the door to close the kitchen off. So this is probably your den or your laundry room, something like that. Although this looks like maybe a closet, but this might be the water heater. And then you have the exterior. And so the driveway pulls all the way to the back, which is nice if you have more than one car or something. There's no garage, as I mentioned before. It doesn't appear to be a garage at all. And then a small backyard, but there is fencing. Nothing real high end or real, exciting, just a standard good house. And this is what you can purchase for $75,000 in Dallas. Not a horrible area in Dallas. Let's see if we can see the street view. That'll give us an idea of the neighbors. So it looks like there's an apartment right there. So if we spin around, we can see there's not a bunch of cars and cars on bricks. Looks like this is the back of someone's home, which is fine. There's another street. Everything looks normal. And that's actually a business, not an apartment. So that's just a small business. So this looks like a halfway decent area. Looking at some of this fencing, I kind of have an idea of exactly where it is. But this is something that I would, if I were still looking for a home and I was in debt and needed to get out of debt as quickly as possible, but also needed a home, this is the kind of home that I would look for. It has what I need. It has, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, has a small backyard. It has somewhere to park. If you have to have a garage because you have a motorcycle or some high-end car, then maybe you would want a house with a garage. But, hopefully if you're getting out of debt, you don't have a motorcycle in a high-end garage, hopefully. So anyway, this is how I have found homes that my late husband and I purchased. Literally doing all my homework, as much as homework as I could. And then after I've done all the homework, I make a list of a couple homes, call my real estate agent and say, can you check out these homes, see if they're still available, see if we can go see them in person. Because this passes all my little checks. My big question here would be the neighborhood. So I would want to go drive around, see what it's like, see how comfortable it is, that type of thing. The house is small, but it is 1,500 square feet. So that'll work. And then the financing. So if you put, this is a $75,000 home. If you put $25,000 down, you would only need to finance $50,000. A $50,000 loan is going to be less than $1,000 unless you have bad credit and you are having trouble getting a loan, basically. And you have to go with a bank that just gives high interest. Right now, the interest rates are not great. But interest rates do affect your mortgage, but not enough that if you are in a place where you can buy a house, it's not enough to not allow you to buy a house. Remember, you can always refinance. I don't recommend it because it does cost you money to refinance, but you can always refinance if you get into a home at a high interest rate and then the interest rates drop, 2 or 3 years later. So that is always an option. It's not the best option because, again, it does cost money to do that. But maybe if you start with a 30-year mortgage and the interest is high and you want to keep your payment low, which is why you would choose a 30, but then you refinance in 3 years to a 15-year mortgage, which is how you should purchase homes, then your payment might stay the same, but your interest rate would go down. Interest rate will be less with a 15-year mortgage than a 30-year mortgage with 99.9% of banks, okay? So I just wanted to show you how you can buy a home cheap. This is in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas is known for being expensive and kind of obnoxious with their pricing, but it is still possible if you are in the Dallas area or any major city. The idea is to look at homes that are maybe outside your ideal spot. Like maybe if you want to live 5 minutes from work, maybe you're going to have to live 10 minutes from work instead. So this is how I do it.
Okay. So I thank you so much for stopping by today. Remember to always invest in yourself today so that you can make a difference for others tomorrow. Give the video a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you should hit the bell so you know when the next video comes out. I thank you so much. Y'all have a great one.